without it showing up in your life. The truth always works, even if the other person doesn't listen. I agree with that at my soul. Hey everybody, welcome back to another chapter of the book, Technical Difficulties, people. Welcome to television from your house. The internet is an interesting proposition, is it not? I'm so glad you joined me tonight. I have some incredible people on the show tonight who are going to shock and amaze you. We kind of do that every night, so it kind of becomes cliche around the Book of Sean to have amazing people on, but these people are really amazing, I'm telling you. My first guest tonight, Nikkie Pryce, is, I think, first of all, when I just met her, her energy is amazing. Her spirit is absolutely on 2000. So I can't wait to talk to her. And she's going to walk us through how we can love ourselves better and take care of ourselves better and understand the things that make us essential, not essential workers, because that's the devil. You are not essential because you work for somebody else. You are essential because you are here. How about that? And she's going to walk us through that. I can't wait to talk to her. As a matter of fact, why delay it? Welcome to the show tonight, the one and only Miss Nikkie Pryce. Hey, Nikkie.
Hello, Dr. Sean. Thank you so much for having me tonight. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
No, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the Book of Sean, as it were. Your energy speaks before you open your mouth. Do you know that?
Yes, I do. I've learned that when I walk into a room, people notice me before I say a word. So I'm excited.
See, I'm here for this. I'm here for a Black woman who knows who the hell she is and owns it.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, tell me, because you might have already just told me, but tell me, what's your superpower? What's your thing that when you open your cape, the world sees this thing, and this is your superpower?
Oh, that's so good. That's a great question. My superpower is self-love. And so I always talk about that because I feel like the way we love ourselves and the confidence that we carry really transcends throughout our lives. And people get to see who we are when we show up into a room. So my superpower is self-love. I had to learn that is a journey. That is not a destination.
Yes.
Evolve. We have to continue to involve ourselves in the power of loving ourselves and just knowing who we are. And I think that is really important.
And we're going to spend much of the night later on talking about that journey. But I want to focus just a little more on you, because I find your work to be powerful. I find your words to be intriguing, but I find your presence to be indelible. And so I'm as fascinated with who is this great woman that sits before me. And I have to ask, this question has become one of my favorite questions that I love to ask people. I just started yesterday, but it's my new favorite question. And here it is. How old were you when you realized you were amazing, and how did you know?
Wow. That's a good question.
Isn't that a good question?
I was today years old when I found out. No, I'm just kidding. It took some time, people would always tell me amazing things about myself, but I couldn't see it. I struggled with confidence and self-esteem for a very long time. I thought that in order to really show yourself that you love yourself or to show up in the world, you had to be successful and you have to get all these accomplishments and accolades. But then I really had to understand that it was who I was on the inside.
Yeah.
And it took me some time to really develop that, and just through prayer, through connecting with other people, through community, I started to see this is who I am. And I love that. I love that I'm quirky. I love that I have this big smile when I walk into a room and I'm always on 10. I love that I like connecting with people. And so it just took me time to accept this is who I am and this is how I plan to show up in the world. So
no, and I love it too. And I appreciate it, especially tonight, because you are modeling and I think presenting to the world everything that I hope people will embrace about how they can, really emote and conjure and present themselves. But if your heart will allow, tell me why you didn't feel confident at that stage of your life. What was going on that didn't make you feel the way you feel tonight?
Oh, that's such a good question. Growing up, I was talking to a friend about this the other day. I was like, I don't really recall ever feeling that good about myself. You know, I was always just the person that was going to show up for everybody else. And then there were moments when I would question even God and say, well, what about me? And so I just depleted myself so much working to please people. And I was leaving myself on the back burner. And so I had to realize that in order for me to be good for other people and even for myself, I need to choose me first. And it took a lot of time to get to that mindset, but I had to learn to honor myself. And to be honest, I just never really had like that positivity, you know, those I guess those words of encouragement growing up. And so I had to give it to myself. You know, I always say when we get older, we have to learn to reparent ourselves. It's not that our parents did a bad job. We love our
that's so good, dude. That's bing, 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 bing. I'm not that. That's good. I don't think I've ever heard that. We have to, you got to walk me through that. We have to reparent ourselves. Come on, give me more.
Yes. So, you know what? My parents did a phenomenal job raising me, and they did the best they could with what they knew, their experience. And so as I got older, you know, and I went off to college and, you know, I started my career as a news reporter. So I was just in different environments and my experiences were different. And so I had to learn that there were certain things that I needed. So I had to reparent that inner child. I realized that I needed words of affirmation. I needed to positive words to myself. That's what made me feel confident and to have self-esteem. So the woman you see today is the woman that did that work, right? The woman that spent the time affirming herself. Like if in my house, I have affirmations all over saying, I am beautiful. I am a child of God. I am powerful. I believe in myself. I love myself. And it's not that we don't know this, right? And some people might think it's basic, but we need to be reminded, you know, the encourager needs to be encouraged.
That's
and
right.
I depend on anybody to give that to me. I have to do it myself.
Yeah, first of all, I love you already, just so you know. I absolutely love Nikkie Pryce because I'm here for everything that you just said. And I am deeply fascinated and plan on stealing the concept. I'll give you credit at least twice.
Okay.
Reparenting yourself. That is brilliant. That's absolutely, because I think most of us probably need to just parent ourselves. Like, look, now you didn't get this when you were younger. Here's what you should have gotten. And since they couldn't give it to me, I'm gonna give it to myself.
Yes, absolutely. And that is the key to, I believe, living a fulfilled life, knowing what you need and giving that to yourself daily.
Hey, Nikkie, is it okay to beat your own ass?
Listen, if you need one, sometimes I'm like, listen, that's not it, Nikkie Pryce.
No, it's such a brilliant concept. It's sublime in its simplicity. And how about this? Respond to this. How about we release our parents from the burden of not giving us what they didn't have?
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. And accepting that they are who they are. God blessed us with our parents. Right. And we have to know that it's going to come a time in life where we just have to give ourselves what we need as adults, you know, and just nurture ourselves in that way.
Yeah, I always say, Nikkie, you can have it. You just may not be able to get it from the places and the people you thought you would get it from. Absolutely.
That's so good. Oh, I'm taking that, and I'll credit you twice on that.
It's only fair, Nikkie. It's only fair. Listen. Take me into. You know what? Let me take a break because I'm forgetting I'm on TV. let me. This conversation's so good. I forgot I was on TV. Let me take a break. Let me pay the bills, and then we come back with more Nikkie Pryce because I love Nikkie Pryce. She's amazing. We'll be back, people.
Hey Soulmates, I'm Brooke from Fox Soul's Black Report. We cover the most important issues affecting Black America. From Capitol Hill to Main Street, we've got you covered. For 4 years, and he didn't get it done.
He didn't get anything done. He didn't get the wall done.
We're giving you a voice, whether it's Black excellence, social justice issues, HBCUs, politics, everything in between.
Those questions were not answered, and I am still coming for them.
Check us out on Fox Soul's Black Report, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific.
Fox Soul's Screening Room.
I'm gonna keep this real, bro. It ain't too many brothers that you run into that do the sci-fi films.
Was it
A UFO.
If you are really drawn to a genre where you don't see a lot of filmmakers like yourself, I think just go for it. That'll be unique, and I think uniqueness is what really stands out.
Featuring the next wave of Black filmmakers.
Just get a drink after work. Sometimes just a drink.
Maybe.
Maybe it's good.
Maybe's maybe.
The whole story is really about facing your fears when you hit a wall and sticking with it.
Hear the stories behind the stories.
You did everything from writing, directing, producing, and editing. Girl, that's a lot of jobs.
I didn't have a budget, so it's like, I'm gonna have to do it myself.
Rolling around trying not to get caught by you.
Streaming Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Fox Soul.
Who is that?
I'm Stevie.
No one's talking to you.
Problematic rapper Boozy is catching backlash.
TGIF.
We need to put a gag order and close the casket on Boozy.
Serving up Friday night tea.
I actually am a fan of his. He said, let me tell you something. I ain't scared of nothing. I came out my mama.
That ain't deep. That's dumb.
Oh, man.
Like, I feel stupid even listening to that.
Al.
On Fox Soul.
Welcome back, everybody. Are you people ready for Nikkie Pryce? Because she came ready tonight, y'all. I'm telling you. Some people come on the show and then, they take a little time. Not Nikkie. Nikkie's a helicopter. She's not a plane. She goes right on up. Nikkie, let me ask you a question. Was there a moment when everything changed for you? I'm struggling to ask. Was there a defining sort of conversation or situation where you turned and said, that's it, that's enough of that. I'm going to be a different person from this moment going forward?
Absolutely. I think we all have those defining moments in our lives. And mine came when about 3.5 years ago, my mother passed away from cancer.
Oh, wow.
She was living in Atlanta at the time, and I was there as well. And when she passed away, it really opened up my eyes to see what life is. And I started to feel like, you know what? Life is so fleeting. We really don't have as much time as we think we have. And it was almost like I told myself, it's time for me to start going after my dreams. One thing that I learned when my mom passed, a very valuable lesson, was that I had to live life for myself. I was constantly living for everybody else and doing everything for everybody else, but my life was not in position. And so, during that time, it really opened up my eyes to just go after what I wanted. And that was the time I actually wrote my first book. It was taking me about 3 years to write it. And when my mom passed, it took me 60 days to finish. I was like so determined and dedicated to finish. And so when I wrote that first book, that opened up massive opportunities for me that I never knew was available to me. And then it just opened up the door for me to write my second book and my third book, and then becoming a bestseller in 4 days of being published. I'm starting to see like, wow, when I got serious about living life for myself, these are the opportunities that presented itself to me.
I often say, Nikkie, sometimes the price we pay for clarity is misery. Sometimes it's not until we get miserable that we get ultimately clear. And it's so interesting that very traumatic, very tragic loss of your mom focused you. It brought you into the fullness of your capacity to be focused. And it seems as if, and you correct me if I'm wrong, it seems as if that her release from life released you into life.
Yeah, I was actually talking, this is interesting. You say this, I was talking to a friend of mine today about it. And I was saying it was almost like my mom, she sacrificed a part of herself to allow us, her children, to just go out into the world, to what we can become, and that's the blessing of parents. They're willing to do whatever it takes for their children. They're willing to give their life if they have to for their children. And so I believe that my mom, in her last days, she just wanted the best for her children. And I feel like for me, living out that legacy is so powerful, and it's such a blessing to me. She's actually on the wall right there. So she's right behind me holding it down.
Speak her name. I want to hear her name.
My mom's name was Naomi. Her name is Naomi.
Yes. Mm-hmm. No, we honor her tonight. We honor her memory as she's one of the ancestors, right? And we honor her tonight for always being over your shoulder. It's such an incredible concept of what you just said just sparked so much in me, that generations lying still in the earth, that they willingly sacrificed huge portions of who they are so that we would have a chance to become some of what we are supposed to be. And I'm wondering today, Nikkie, if you could just talk to all the parents, you know, on all the caretakers and all the people who are loving people, and they're sacrificing and they're weary, and they just need to hear somebody tell them some of what you have already told us.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Bible tells us if we don't get weary and well-doing, like we will reap if we do not faint, you know. And so sometimes it is challenging. It is hard to go through that process. But when you really love somebody, you know, love to me has transformative power. And I believe that when we love, we can do anything. We can be anything. And so I know it's tiring to even feel like you're doing so much for your children, and it's, you know, it's hard. But I believe that you're still here, you're alive, you have breath in your body, you still have more to go. And there's so much more blessings on the other side of that. So I just want you to say, I want to say, hang in there, keep going. But I also want to speak to the children, you know, of the parents, you know, hold your family tighter, hold your parents tighter, love them more, because sometimes we don't get another chance. You know, I wish I had a chance.
Yes, Nikkie. Yes.
Like, I miss you, I love you. And I don't get to do that in the physical, but I know she's with me every day. So I just say, you know, hold your family, love your family, be there as much as you can, and just show up. Like, this is like the time we have to show up for each other and just continue to love each other.
No, that is so rich. Especially your word to everybody who's maybe a child or maybe the recipient of someone's sacrifice. I had a guest on a few weeks ago who said something that I will never forget. That the one mistake that they made was that they thought they had more time, right? And I hear that just coming through that screen tonight from you, saying to all of us, it's not as many days as you think it is. Cherish the moments, the minutes that you have, because, you know, you quoted scripture, so I'll quote a little bit. The book of Solomon says that life is fleeting. It is fleeting. And it'll slip out of your hands. Let me change gears a little bit, because I want to just drill down into your expertise. I want to make sure that we squeeze as much out of you as we possibly can. I'm going to give you two sort of categories, two sort of, concepts. And you tell me what the difference is between the two of them, because most people use them interchangeably, and maybe you do too. So that's fine if you do. I'm presuppositioning a difference, but it may not be. So here's the first one. What is the difference or the sameness between self-care and self-love?
Oh, that's awesome. That's a great question. Well, they're similar in a lot of ways. I always say, if we love ourselves, if we really love ourselves, we'll take care of ourselves, right? So it's kind of like, I love myself enough to say, I've been working for 12 hours. I probably should close my computer and lay down. So if my body is speaking to me, I should do that. So self-love has a lot to do with just focusing on your well-being, just as self-care. So you do the things that you need to be able to produce the life you want to produce. So it looks like, and they're very similar, but it really looks like the more you love yourself, the more you will take care of yourself and give yourself what you need when you need.
So if I understand you correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, self-love is how you feel about yourself, right? Mm-hmm. And self-care is how you put those feelings into practice.
Right. So self-love is how you feel. Self-care is what you do.
Got it. Everybody watching in the chat, everybody watching on YouTube right now, tell me how you put your self-love into practice. How do you take care of yourselves? And I want to hear it all. Don't leave nothing out, people, because I know some of us got some really strange things that we do, but it's not strange if it's taking care of you, right? Maybe that's get a pedicure. Maybe that's go for a run. Maybe maybe that's, cussing somebody out. Maybe, is that self-care, Nikkie?
You need to release, but I don't want to encourage violence, but what I will...
No violence.
What I will say is therapy is a great place of self-care. And you can say whatever you want to say to your therapist, because they cannot disclose any of your information. So if you want to curse somebody out, call your therapist. I always say therapy is a great tool to have. I know many times it's a stigma in the Black community, but it's so important to speak to somebody who won't have a biased bone in their body when it comes to you, and you can just share how you feel and express that.
No, I think you're absolutely right. Give me a list of things. I love. First of all, Nikki, I love lists. I don't know why, but I love lists. I'm going to ask you for 2 kinds of lists. Here's my first list that I'm requesting of you. Give me a list of things that you think people should do every day that would put into practice the self-love we're hoping everybody has.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to share with you the list of things that I do.
That's perfect.
So the first thing is just being grateful, really practicing gratitude, because sometimes I'm gonna speak for myself. Sometimes even for me, it's like I can forget what I have. So it's like I have to go back and remind myself. So being grateful, I always say 5 things I'm grateful for every day. Prayer always helps me and supports me. Connecting with people that I love. So making sure that I'm making time to, call people that I love. Also, affirmations are huge. You can write nice affirmations and I put them on sticky notes and put them around my home. But using the words I am are so powerful. You can encourage yourself. If you're feeling down, you could just speak something positive into your life. So affirmations are huge. And then also taking time away from work. I think sometimes, even for me, I could get into the zone of just becoming a workaholic and I'm missing out on life. I'm having these great accomplishments and I'm not stopping to smell the flowers. So I think we have to take time to just celebrate and enjoy ourselves and take some time off of work. Go get a nice lunch, go hang out with somebody you love, go see a family member, but take some time away to enjoy the small moments in life.
I love the I ams particularly because, that Jesus did it. I am the bread of life. I am the good shepherd. I am the way. He was always affirming who he was and always because he had nobody else to do it. I mean, they were trying to kill him. So he decided, if I'm going to get any affirmation, I better give it to my damn self. Although Jesus would not have said it that way, pray for me. But yeah, I love the notion of people having the courage and the temerity and the chutzpah, that's a good Yiddish word, the chutzpah, to declare who and what they are in the midst of their day, to tell life. It's better for you to tell life who you are than to wait for life to tell you.
That's so good. Well, Dr. Sean, I'll tell you this, there's research that shows that people think a total of 80,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of those thoughts are negative. And 90% of those thoughts
Wow. Say that again.
Listen, I've come with the facts. So we think a total of 80,000 thoughts a day, and 80% of those thoughts are negative, and 90% are repetitive thoughts from the day before. So if our mind is just going all day, we really have to take a moment to just say something nice to ourselves. We have all this negative talk in our mind going all day. We have to stop and say, you know what? I deserve to be treated with love, and I deserve to treat myself with love. And
That's
so
right.
those affirmations are powerful. In Exodus, God said, I am the I am. So if you are attaching a powerful, positive statement to the words I am, what can you create in your life? And a lot of times, those affirmations may not be in manifestation yet, but you can speak that thing and start to get it into rotation and pull it into you. If you start speaking these positive words and have a good intention to know that God wants to bless you with the things that you desire to have. He gives you the desires of your heart in the first place.
Let me tell you a story, Miss Nikki, just to emphasize the truth of what you just said. So I have 2 sons, and the younger of my sons, had some learning problems. He was always different, right? Always on a different wavelength. His brother was more typical, right? Run fast, jump high, talk smart, all that kind of stuff, right? And so I intentionally started calling my youngest son a major prophet. So whenever I say, Major Prophet, what we doing today? He'd be like, Pops, what's the major prophet? And I tell him, I said, it's you a major prophet. You're not Obadiah. You ain't no Amos. You ain't no Nahum. You Jeremiah, boy. You Isaiah. You a major prophet. Fast forward years and years and years and years and years. He's in school and he's at Morehouse College, having some difficulty. And we're talking on the phone. And I say, hey, man, how you doing? He said, Pops, I'm fine. I said, but your brother told me. He said, oh, yeah, all of that's true. He said, but you don't remember who you're talking to. I said, what are you talking about? He said, Pops, I'm a major prophet.
Wow.
Boy.
And he remembered.
He remembered.
Life, and look at that. He took that with him everywhere he goes.
I'm telling you. So everybody in the chat, let me give you some more work to do. You ain't just watching the show tonight. You're going to work in that chat. Write down, tell me all the things that you are, right? I am beautiful. I am strong. I am accomplished. I am brilliant. I want to hear all the things that you are. Give me all your I ams in the chat tonight. And anybody in there talking crazy, kick them out. Tonight is all about declaring who and what we are. I am what? Fill in the blank, and let's just celebrate each other tonight. How about we just celebrate each other? How about that? What do you think about that, Nikki?
I love that. I'm all for celebration. Let's do it.
Let me ask you a question, a bit more critical, but I know you got this. How do we keep self-love and self-care from becoming selfishness?
Oh, that's so good. Well, I think it really depends, right? And I'll say this, you know, in your heart, there are things that sometimes will come out, right? So if you are naturally a selfish person, those moments will come out. I think we have to just learn healthy boundaries and being okay with saying no when we need to say no, not because you're doing it out of selfishness. You're probably doing it because you had a long day and you're just tired. And so I think we need to just listen to our bodies, listen to ourselves, do what we can, don't overextend ourselves, create these healthy boundaries and communicate that to the people who are in our lives. Because many times people have this expectation like, well, why do I have to say it in the first place? Why do I need to tell you what I need? Because I need to understand who you are and where you are and where you kind of fit in this entire mold. So I think it's just important communicating those things, but still being kind to people. You can say, hey, I really cannot do it. I would love to, but I can't show up tonight for dinner. I'm really exhausted. I had a long day. And you can say that in a kind way. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be nasty. And I think once we share that kindness, you'll be able to really communicate that effectively.
No, I think you're right. I think that whatever sacrifices and selflessness we are endeavoring to have in the world is a lie and is a form of thievery if we are not engaged in the high art and the practice of self-love and self-care. We're making other people thieves when they take from us things that they didn't know they were stealing. Yes. And right, and they were stealing them because we weren't some things we ought to withhold. Am I right about that, Nikki? Some things we ought to keep for ourselves, and it's okay to have a balance between how much I care and do for you and how much I say this is my practice for honoring me.
Yes. And then, a lot of times when that happens, people end up resenting other people because it's like, you did this to me or you took this from me, but it's like, you never said that it wasn't okay to not take it. So just we need to be open and honest with what we need. Especially for me, honestly, in my friendships, seasons change. And my friends and I, we have conversations like, hey, this is what I need in this specific season. Last season, I was more available, but this season, I'm extremely more productive and busier. So I need to tell you, this is what I need. This is my boundary. So you don't feel any type of way. And I don't resent you for taking something from me that I should have said something about in the first place.
Nikki, I got to take a break. I'm not sure if I'm letting you go. I might try to keep you. a little longer. So we'll see what happens, but that notwithstanding, you are absolutely amazing. Your energy, your life force, your spirit, your words, you're so clear. And you really, I think, push and inspire people to really consider themselves, right? Consider yourself, even as you consider all the things you're thinking about the world. It's a wonderful invitation. And I do think that you are a blessing to the culture. And I hope that all that you give out and all that you've contributed to other people will rush back to you.
I received that. Thank you, Dr. Sean. That was a blessing. That was a benediction because I receive it.
Let's take a break. We'll be right back.